right after I got my master's degree, not too long, I got pregnant with the twins, and my husband at the time was actually working on his doctorate. And so I always wanted to go back to school, but being a single mom was harder than I realized it was going to be. So when I took this job 9 years ago, I asked my boss at that time when I accepted the position if he would support me if I wanted to get my doctorate. And he said, well, of course. I think he was confused because I think he thought, why would you want to do that? You have the job as dean. I don't know why you would want to do that. But anyway, I've always wanted to do it. And I was really excited yesterday to see that I'm going to be part of that program. I feel like I'm learning a lot in the last few weeks, especially during this time of social distancing and working from home. And so I just decided that I've been wanting to start a journal the last few weeks because, as you know from your trip to special collections, what we know about the past, we learn from primary resource materials. And those are the things that are the closest to the information, the stories we tell. And so I've been wondering, in 100 years, what is it that we're gonna have to tell the stories of what we're experiencing today? And so I've been thinking to myself, I need to write a journal. I need to chronicle what I'm feeling and what problems I'm solving and how I'm feeling and what we're seeing in the world taking place. And there's so much generosity that I am witnessing, and it's really moving. But I'm afraid that so many of us aren't writing it down. So I would invite all of you to perhaps think about writing it down too, whether it's a picture or in words. And maybe one day you'll want to pass that along to your children, or you'll want to give it to a local historical society or a library, but it's really important that we have these things. So I'm going to read to you what I wrote in my journal about learning, if that just feels most comfortable to me. So is that okay?
Sounds great.
Okay. So this weekly gathering throughout Lent is meant to bring us closer to God and to our community. And this year we've had to adjust our weekly practice and move online. To be clear, I've never attended a Wednesday meeting because I'm usually too preoccupied with life. Work commitments usually take up several evenings a week, and the other nights I'm desperately attempting to have a connection with my 17-year-old boys. Mixed in with all the uncertainty and fear of the COVID-19 virus is the blessing of being at home in a confined space with my kids. We haven't spent this much time together since they were in diapers. We quickly moved from diapers to preschool to little kicker soccer to real school and all of the extracurricular activities that have come to define so many of us who raise children. The COVID-19 pandemic and the new norms that are coming from health organizations, national, state, and local governments ask for social distancing. My work has moved to the kitchen counter, and my children have moved school to various rooms of our house. I'm in my second week and desperately trying to find a routine that can sustain me for another 6 weeks. What have I learned so far? I am not accustomed to being alone or being still. For the first Lenten gathering, some of you came to the library, so you've seen where I work. It's an inspiring building, a library filled with students, staff, and faculty engaged in the process of learning. You were able to touch historical documents and learn more about the role of primary source materials. These are the materials that are the original object or document, the raw material, the firsthand information and source that is closest to what is being studied. I worry about the firsthand documents that will exist 100 years from now. Who is journaling? Where are the paper materials that will lead future generations? The clues that will lead us to a deeper understanding of the issues we face today. These remarks are my first diary entry of COVID-19. I hope some of you will consider journaling during this moment in history. Back to the original request from Kathy. What am I learning through all of this? I'm learning the act of being still requires time and energy. It's not easy to be alone in my thoughts and dreams. It makes me feel closer to God and to hear what He's trying to reveal to me. It allows me to feel the full range of my emotions and to name them. There's an article I'll share with you from the Harvard Business Review called "The Discomfort You're Feeling is Grief," and I'll post it into the chat box, so if you guys want to look at it, you can. As a leader in higher education with a staff of about 65 employees, I'm also learning to model flexibility and to be vulnerable. My coworkers will appreciate seeing me struggle, and they do. Sometimes we put our mentors and those we admire on a pedestal. Having them see me make mistakes and not have the answers is okay, and it's better than okay. It's actually helpful because it validates their own feelings of uncertainty and fear. Getting through hard things is usually easier when it's done with others. I think that's why I'm so glad to be with all of you tonight. I've learned that people cannot work with the expectations that were understood just a few weeks ago. My most important work today and last week was caring for others and allowing them to know that work doesn't look today like it looked last week or the week before. We have mothers that are trying to school their children. We have husbands and wives at home together, working not far apart. We have people sharing devices. We have some people who don't have the internet. And so I need to model flexibility and help my organization through this period of change. The blessing in all of this is more time to be alone, to talk to my children, and to be still. So during this Lent season, I am especially grateful to be learning, to be looking inward, and to be spending more time at home with my family and with you.